All right, well, hello and welcome everyone to our webinar, pDOOH for Buyers, How to Adapt When the Medium Goes Mainstream. My name is Brooke, I'm the founder and head of Insight at doohx, and I'm joined today by Broadsign Senior Account Executive for pDOOH Media Sales, Mike Hammer.
Hello, everyone.
Today we're going to be taking a look at digital out-of-home's evolution as programmatic trading continues to propel expansion and international growth, transforming digital out-of-home into a mainstream media channel and a key pillar of digital media plans. More and more, we're seeing that hybrid digital teams are integrating pDOOH into their buying portfolio, pushed by the many ways in which programmatic trading and digital out-of-home is allowing for more aligned, integrated, and complementary media planning between digital out-of-home and other digital mediums. Thanks to this global interest and implementation of pDOOH, digital out-of-home is benefiting from increased investment and technological advances the world over. I'll soon hand over to Mike, who will be giving us an overview of the current state of digital out-of-home and pDOOH across markets, and what it is about the medium that's enticing so many new buyers and budgets from around the world. As with any evolving technology, education has been paramount over the past few years to pave the way for trial campaigns and innovations across the board. With no signs of slowing down, knowledge is power when it comes to making the most of exciting new opportunities pDOOH brings to out-of-home and digital strategies, and a key driver of growth will be the continued education of global markets. Over the past 3 years, doohx has released 4 certification courses aimed at doing just that, and the feedback from our over 2,500 students so far has been overwhelmingly positive. Available in 9 different languages and with students from almost 30 countries around the world, we've seen an exciting trend towards a global standard of education that's driving common growth around the world. I'll be back shortly to talk through the programs we currently have available, as well as an exciting new launch we have coming up in July of this year. We'll also be sharing a lesson from our latest course release, pDOOH for Buyers, on how to structure your buying teams to optimize for pDOOH planning. We'll also have some time set aside to answer any questions that you have, so feel free to drop those in the Q&A box and we'll come back to them at the end. For now, I'd like to hand over to Mike Hammer from Broadsign to offer his perspective on the current state of the market, Broadsign's approach and offerings when it comes to pDOOH, and the role of education in the development of the digital out-of-home industry.
All right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. And thank you, Brooke, for that great introduction. You teed up the rise of digital out-of-home perfectly, especially as the buying of digital out-of-home continues to trend in a programmatic direction. The stats for digital out-of-home's growth over the next several years are staggering. And here are a few that we feel do a really good job at painting that picture. Global digital out-of-home ad spend is projected to reach $58.67 billion by 2030, up from $18.8 billion in 2022. Programmatic digital out-of-home is leading this rise and expected to grow 41% globally over the next 5 years. In the US, 25% of all digital out-of-home is projected to be transacted programmatically by next year, up 5% from 2023. And at Broadsign, we're seeing continued marketplace growth as well, with several categories like travel, financial, beverage and alcohol, media and entertainment, and retail leading the way. Why digital out-of-home? Because it matters more than ever. People are spending more time outside, and as they go about their daily routines, they're encountering digital screens in a variety of ways. I'm sure most of you can relate. In a typical morning, someone could start their day in the gym, walk down the street to grab a cup of coffee at the local convenience store, hop on a subway, get in a ride share to work, then get into the elevator of their office building. There is no doubt that along the way, they have come across a wide variety of digital out-of-home screens, all within the first few hours of their day. These digital screens, while omnipresent, have become more impactful than ever before and can deliver many benefits to buyers. With increasing online brand safety concerns, digital out-of-home is a safe space for brands. The images displayed are impactful and the screen is uncluttered, no banner blindness and no digital fatigue to experience. Ads can be contextually relevant. For example, running an energy drink ad on a screen in the gym, or a lunch focus ad in the elevator of your office building right before lunchtime. On top of that, buyers can run digital out-of-home ads based on moments, such as weather or financial triggers. For example, running ads for a convertible only when the weather is sunny and between 60 to 85 degrees. Plus, the clock is ticking on the deprecation of the third-party cookie, meaning the ability to target one-to-one will become increasingly more difficult. Nothing you need to worry about with digital out-of-home. Traditionally, out-of-home has been viewed as a top-of-the-funnel branding medium, yet it is now being used to drive full funnel impact. There is no doubt that digital out-of-home is a great driver of awareness and intent, as it produces the highest levels of consumer recall versus other media channels. But it also delivers the benefits of trust and consideration, with over half of consumers trusting out-of-home more than other mediums. Plus, it helps spur consumers to take action and drive conversions, with 41% of audiences taking an action online post out-of-home ad exposure. Digital out-of-home has evolved to deliver more than just impactful ad impressions. Campaigns are now highly measurable, giving buyers the ability to understand the impact of their digital out-of-home campaigns. Working with a handful of curated data partners like pDOOH, Native Touch, and Activate Me, we offer a variety of data strategies to enhance your digital out-of-home campaigns. For example, you can run a brand lift study to better understand ad recall, consideration, or brand image, or a retargeting campaign that will enable you to retarget audiences on their mobile devices based on actual out-of-home ad exposure. Running a digital out-of-home campaign programmatically has never been easier, and Broadsign is focused on eliminating all of the unnecessary friction in the process. We encourage buyers to choose how they want to run their campaigns, and we provide a handful of options on how to make this happen. One way is to use a digital out-of-home specific DSP, like a Domni or Outmove, or even Broadsign's own DSP, Broadsign Ads. Depending on the DSP you choose, these buys can be run as managed or self-service. Digital out-of-home specific DSPs offer a premium digital out-of-home planning and buying experience, as they are purpose-built for out-of-home, which makes them highly efficient and easy to use. Robust reporting capabilities and transparency are keys to digital out-of-home specific DSPs as well. Another way to run a programmatic digital out-of-home campaign is through an omni-channel DSP, probably ones that you're very familiar with, like the Trade Desk, DV360, or Yahoo. Broadsign is integrated with over 30 plus DSPs, giving buyers the ability to run omni-channel campaigns inclusive of out-of-home on the DSP of their choice. This option is highly scalable, especially for full funnel campaigns, giving buyers easy access to audiences and data, as well as post-campaign reporting and analysis. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the importance of programmatic digital out-of-home training and the value that Broadsign continues to receive through our partnership with Brooke and doohx. Personally, when I started at Broadsign in 2022, the learning curve was quite steep. I have the doohx courses to thank for getting me up to speed quickly, so that I was able to hit the ground running. In fact, these classes and certifications are part of the onboarding process here at Broadsign. And on top of that, we offer them to our agency and brand partners so they too can become experts on programmatic digital out-of-home. With that, I'm going to hand it back to Brooke, who is going to share some new and exciting doohx news. Over to you.
Thanks so much, Mike. There's no doubt an exciting period ahead for digital out-of-home as things continue to evolve over the short to medium term. We couldn't agree more that education is going to play a vital role in out-of-home moving forward, both for out-of-home veterans eager to discover the latest capabilities thanks to programmatic trading, and for those from a digital background who are eager to understand the medium currently taking the market by storm. At doohx, we offer certification programs designed to suit your pursuit of knowledge, no matter which side of the media equation you come from. We currently have 4 programs active and available through our website. We have pDOOH 101, which goes through the fundamentals of pDOOH trading, Digital Out-of-Home 101, which goes through the fundamentals of digital out-of-home as a medium, pDOOH Advanced, which builds on the foundations of our 101 courses to dive deeper into all areas of programmatic do, and our latest course, pDOOH for Buyers, which is a specialized course designed to give those on the buy side of programmatic do all the tools they need to succeed in pDOOH trading. Our next course will be launching in the coming weeks, and that's pDOOH for Publishers. So just as our pDOOH for Buyers certification addresses the buy side of programmatic do, pDOOH for Publishers is designed specifically with those on the sell side of pDOOH in mind. We will be diving into structuring digital out-of-home networks for programmatic do, pricing strategies, pitching programmatic solutions, responding to pDOOH briefs, tech platform demonstrations, and much more. And that course will be coming at the end of June 2023. Now, after listening to the feedback of our over 2,000 students so far, we've been hard at work on an entirely new learning experience. And it's with huge excitement that we are happy to announce the launch of our very own doohx app, which will go live in July this year. Our app integrates our course player for a seamless experience on the go, meaning students can continue to learn on the move, whether you're commuting to work or out for a weekend stroll. You can upskill your do knowledge and master the art of programmatic do, all from right there in your pocket. The doohx app will be available through the Apple app and Google Play stores for both iPhone and Android, and will act as a gateway to our entirely new learning and community platform launching later this year. Stay tuned for more exciting announcement on that in the coming weeks. For now, we'd like to share with you a lesson from our latest course, pDOOH for Buyers, where we take a look at how to structure your team for programmatic do, what considerations should be, and best practices for campaign success. Now, when it comes to structuring your team for programmatic trading, it will very much depend on the individual business and their goals with programmatic do. However, there are a few arguments to be made about which model might be optimal for your business, depending on which side of the team which side your team falls on, of an out-of-home specialist or a hybrid digital team. For out-of-home specialists, separating programmatic trading from the traditional buying teams makes sense for many reasons. There are many aspects of programmatic trading that do not align with traditional out-of-home buying, and we're going to go through just a few of those differences now. Beginning with the buying process itself. Static out-of-home remains an important part of the media mix, but the planning process differs to digital out-of-home thanks to a range of factors, including production and install costs that apply only to static out-of-home, which are irrelevant for digital out-of-home trading. Share of voice is fixed in traditional out-of-home, as the creative is static and always on. This is more flexible in digital out-of-home and more still in programmatic do. Campaign length is set in traditional out-of-home, usually between 2 to 4 weeks and up to 12, depending on the format. Digital out-of-home offers more flexibility in campaign timing and activation, with pDOOH taking that one step further again with the introduction of non-guaranteed activity. Then comes audience metrics. So traditionally bought out-of-home utilizes reach and frequency, whereas pDOOH utilizes impressions. While out-of-home is a one-to-many medium, pDOOH trading enables targeting to instead be a one-to-chosen many, and as ads can be activated as and when certain targeting and trigger parameters are met. Both factors impact both planning and post-campaign reporting and make it necessary to separate pDOOH from traditionally bought out-of-home media, as campaign activations, as well as the data collected in post-campaign reporting, are not comparable to traditional out-of-home. There's also a difference in pricing and budgets. So pDOOH operates on an impression-based CPM basis, and save for guaranteed activity, the total cost of a campaign can be flexible until the campaign ends. This requires a more fluid method of planning. Traditional activity is fixed price and predetermined prior to the campaign going live, allowing for campaigns to be planned, approved, and executed under defined conditions. And finally is the actual trading of the media. So pDOOH is traded between DSP and SSP platforms, automating the activation of campaigns by integrating buyers with publishers, as well as additional data providers. Traditional out-of-home is traded manually, with the exception of certain automation platforms that allow for some of the manual processes of booking digital out-of-home to be bypassed. pDOOH campaigns are also not as set and forget as traditional out-of-home ones, as traditional campaigns are predetermined, save for any issues that come up during the campaign. They can run as desired without any intervention from the buy side. pDOOH campaigns, given their flexibility and agility, are constantly evolving and require more monitoring to ensure delivery is as it should be, with the added benefit of being able to optimize campaigns in real time. These are just a few of the many reasons why separating programmatic buying teams from traditional buying teams in out-of-home may make more sense for out-of-home specialists. Whatever your business decides, when moving into the programmatic do space, it's really about a balancing act between out-of-home expertise and programmatic tech savvy. Those trading digital out-of-home programmatically not only need an understanding of out-of-home formats, audiences, and strategic buying, but of the technology that will facilitate these transactions. pDOOH buyers will be required to plan, activate, optimize, and troubleshoot campaigns via their DSP, which require a fundamental understanding of the entire tech stack of programmatic trading. There is no longer a differentiation between media buying and ad operations. Every role in pDOOH is an ad tech role. So buyers will need to be able to address any issues that arise in the activation of campaigns, and time loss referring to other teams or back to their tech partners impacts the successful delivery of a campaign. Now, for cross-channel or hybrid teams, the opposite is true. There are many excellent arguments for consolidating your buying team to include digital out-of-home within an existing digital buying structure. Firstly, buying through a single platform means buyers can seamlessly include digital out-of-home in multi-format campaigns. This enhances buyers' ability to purchase complementary inventory, build holistic and complementary media plans across formats, and reduce the amount of resources required to activate a comprehensive media strategy. By purchasing multiple formats through a single DSP platform, buyers are now able to activate complementary targeting and triggers across multiple formats. Research shows that the effects of Research shows the enhancing effects of digital out-of-home when bought with other digital mediums, and now buyers have the power to integrate and activate that increased effect while setting up their cross-platform campaigns. The creative aspect of media buying also benefits, as having visibility over all mediums in a campaign allows buyers to brief creative teams in a way that enables more efficient and complementary design between real-world and online formats. Adaptable creative formats, like HTML5, mean less need to create bespoke creatives for individual digital out-of-home inventory, optimizing resources and inviting new methods of creativity. And finally, by combining campaign monitoring and optimization by activating through a single DSP platform, buyers can have a holistic overview of campaign performance across channel in real time. And while metrics and measurements may differ between mediums, buyers will still have the power to start, stop, upweight, and downweight across formats in real time to optimize their campaign performance. So for hybrid teams, separating pDOOH is not the answer. However, it's imperative to incorporate a deep understanding of the out-of-home medium into your trading team. While many aspects of programmatic trading allow digital out-of-home to be more seamlessly included into an overall media plan, there are many nuances to the out-of-home medium that need to be understood in order to execute an effective media plan. A deep knowledge of the available formats, audience targeting, reporting, and publisher capabilities are key to a successful pDOOH campaign. It's not only the buying teams, however, that will need to adapt to the introduction of pDOOH, especially for those used to trading the medium on a traditional basis. At a strategy level, pDOOH can enhance a digital out-of-home campaign and complement an out-of-home one, as well as elevate the effectiveness of other digital mediums. Understanding what formats can be traded programmatically, how they fit into your overall media buy, and whether trading an out-of-home plan programmatically will enhance your campaign will be crucial. For buyers, as we covered earlier, briefing pDOOH campaigns differs to traditional buys, as does campaign planning and measurement. Understanding the technology and how pDOOH fits into a cross-media campaign will influence how buyers transact. For marketing teams, a case not only needs to be made for including out-of-home into a media plan, but also for executing that media plan via programmatic means. That means there's a story to be told both for promoting the benefits of pDOOH trading internally to buy teams, but also externally to clients and partners. A very interesting conversation, especially for out-of-home specialists to have, is with their finance teams. With more players involved now, namely the DSP, and the ability to trade on net amounts, pDOOH not only requires new processes, but an understanding of how transactions work in order to maximize the company's spend efficiency. Traditional structures of commission and transacting on gross are challenged with pDOOH, as buyers have the capability to incorporate additional fees via their DSP for billing purposes, negating the need to transact gross amounts to later be reimbursed by publishers. And finally, when briefing on creatives, not only do you need to create artwork that's appropriate for the formats that you've booked, but you also want to have creatives available for alternate formats should you wish to optimize cross-medium throughout your campaign. Responsive creative formats like HTML5 are perfect for this. For those formally creating artwork for online purposes, pDOOH creatives should also be optimized for the environments and dwell times of the digital out-of-home inventory. Now, our full pDOOH for Buyers course will be made available publicly this Friday, the 2nd of June. If you are a Broadsign client, you can get in touch with your Broadsign representative for course access. And for the rest of our attendees today, a link to the sign up with the course with a 20% discount applied will be sent to you via email along with a recording of this webinar. Now we're going to take a few minutes to answer any questions. So if anyone would like to send those through, you can put them in the Q&A box. We'll give that a minute. Okay, the first question came through. How quickly can I get a programmatic campaign up and running? Mike, would you like to take that one?
Sure, I'll take that one. It really depends on how quickly you can get creative over to us, but as quickly as within 24 hours. If you have creative ready to go, we can get it up and running pretty quickly. If you don't have creative, it really is just a matter of how long you can get that creative over to complete and over to us, but within 24 to 48 hours is typically how quickly we can get a campaign up and running.
And we just had another one come through. Is reach and frequency currently measured in Canada? I'm assuming that's referring to some global standards, and that's more your side of the world, Mike. So do you have any insight on how reach and frequency is currently measured over there?
I at this point, I do not. We could follow up on that. I am focused on the US, so I would defer to my Canadian counterparts. Sorry that I'm unable to answer that question for you. But if there's a way that we can follow up, I'd be happy to do so.
Let's see if there's, is it more expensive to buy via pDOOH than directly from publishers? That's an interesting one. Maybe you want to give your insights and then I'll jump in after.
Yeah, sure. It really depends. I think that it depends on what type of rate you've established with your publisher partners, right? We can honor those rates. So I think that that's something that on an individual basis, it can be cost efficient to work either side of the house. It really depends on your comfortability. And if you wanted to embark on a programmatic campaign where you're not just working with one publisher, but you're working with multiple publishers at one time. So expanding the screens outside of just roadside, let's say, and into gyms and malls and restaurants and convenience stores and urban panels and so on. So I think that it really depends on the rates that you've established with your media publishers, and then kind of coming to that type of agreement together on a rate that works for you under these circumstances.
I think it's fair to say that there might be a slight premium involved in programmatic trading, but I think there's a balance to be sort of considered between the benefits that it offers, the additional benefits that it offers compared to direct trading. Would you say that that's fair to sort of compensate for any extra cost that there might be? Not that I think the difference is actually very high anymore, but it kind of is outweighed by the sort of efficiency in terms of spend, resources, and targeting that you get from programmatic dooh.
I agree 100%.
Will there ever be standard tech fee across all vendors to increase overall CPM? That's an interesting one. Will there ever be a standard tech fee across all vendors as it does increase the overall CPM? I think it's very difficult to standardize tech fees across vendors because the formats and the sort of publishing networks are so different, not only in markets, but also internationally, like on a global scale. What would your insight be to that, Mike?
A standard tech fee across all vendors. Yeah, I don't necessarily have insight into the future of standardization of tech fees across vendors, just because every vendor has different media partners. They're all kind of different. So I really don't. And today, obviously, everybody has different types of fees and different structures, right? Whereas our platform is a free platform to use as a planning tool. There's no minimums. So there are other DSPs and programmatic ways of trading that may not offer that. So I don't know. I don't have my crystal ball into the future, but I think it will be tough to have some sort of standardization of those fees across every single programmatic trading platform.
The next question is, can I run a multi-country campaign with pDOOH? Yes, you absolutely can. This is something that you need to get in touch with your publishers about, those that have international networks, or if you need to include multiple different publishers from multiple different markets. It'll depend on how they want to structure it, whether it can be included in exactly the same deal ID or whether you need multiple, separating the different markets. But yes, it absolutely is possible. And generally speaking, you can do it in a single currency as well.
Yeah, I think that just plays to the power and the beauty of programmatic, in that you can run a global campaign with one kind of one person, one entry point within a company.
Absolutely. I'll just give it one more minute if there's any other questions from anybody before we jump off. There's actually maybe another interesting point to be made on that question about if it's more expensive to buy via pDOOH rather than directly from publishers. Because, I mean, you still are buying directly from publishers, actually, with programmatic dooh. You'll still be interacting with publishers. They'll still be there to walk you through from, campaign briefing stage through to campaign activation. So there's always going to be an ongoing conversation, even though there's a lot more automated, about sort of audience insights, what's the best use of their inventory. People that come from a digital background, they can give you a lot of insights into impressions, what that looks like on the network and how it should be bought for optimum results. So you're still buying directly from publishers, technically speaking. There just might be a slight increase in terms of programmatic trading versus running a campaign in a more traditional sense. What kind of cookieless data is at the moment accessible for digital out of home? Mike, do you want to jump in on that? And I'll give my insights after.
What do you could handle that one? Take that one.
Yeah. I mean, it depends on whether you want it to be integrated directly into the DSP and SSP platforms, or whether it's going to be something discussed directly between the publishers. But I mean, there's all sorts of, footfall data, sales data, that's first party data that's available to you. Third party integrations in terms of traffic movements, footfall movements, mobile IDs, tracking how and where they're spending and searching. There's so many different ones available, and we go through it actually in quite a lot of detail in our pDOOH advanced course. But there's a lot available to you, first and third party data integrations. It will really depend on your campaign KPIs and what you need for your specific campaign.
Exactly. And as I referred to during the presentation, we can do mobile retargeting. So understanding the people that pass by the screens where your ad was being shown, and then enabling to capture those mobile ad IDs, and then share those with our buying partners or brand partners, so they're able to then go ahead and retarget those consumers that were exposed to the ad on their mobile devices.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the big benefits as well of digital out of home now coming into the more sort of omni-channel DSPs, is that you can really activate this nice sort of cross-channel targeting and triggering to make campaigns really complement one another, so that the mediums can kind of benefit from all each other's strengths, which is exciting to see.
There's one here. Is it possible to include our previously agreed rates? That is a possibility. As the rates that you have established with your publisher partners, that is something that we can work with you and those publishers to honor those established rates.
And it's really interesting what you can do. I mean, even with non-guaranteed activity in programmatic it might be based on a CPM based on a sort of uncertain spend. But there are ways to do it with your publishers to say, once you've spent X amount, then you can go to a different tier of CPM and so on and so on. So that you're still getting all the benefits of having maybe a larger sort of year-long budget, as most larger agencies do, so that you end up with the sales figure that you wanted at the end, even if it's got non-guaranteed activity. There's clever ways to go about it strategically wise to ensure that you get the best value out of your publishers, even with non-guaranteed activity in programmatic do. Is it available in all countries? Well, excellent question. So, I mean, programmatic do, it's evolving in every market at a different pace, I think it's fair to say. I think any market that has digital out-of-home inventory, it's possible for them to enable it programmatically with a few tech advances. And we're seeing more and more in markets in South America, in Africa, that they're slowly starting to come on board with it as well, which is really exciting to see. It will depend on the market and how each individual one evolves, but it'd be interesting to hear your perspective, Mike, as well, from a Broadsign point of view. But from what I've seen, it's starting to emerge in a lot of even smaller, sort of more niche markets now. So it's getting to the point where it's becoming more mainstream.
Yeah, I concur with that. I'm seeing it not, I sit here in the US, but we continue to grow media partners across the globe, expanding, every other week. I'm seeing a new media partner that we're onboarding, new screens being developed, and hiring, right? So we're putting people in areas of the world that we've never had before, because there is that type of demand. So I think that global expansion, not just of continued global expansion of programmatic and Broadsign, are definitely we're seeing that happening.
And there's a question here, is it GDPR proof? I'm assuming that's referring to the mobile chat we had before. All the mobile ID data that we use in Programmatic do is all GDPR proof. It's all anonymized, so there's no risk of sort of privacy issues there. That's something that the tech and audience suppliers take a lot of care in providing. So you shouldn't have any issues on that front.
Yeah, is it only possible to use mobile data for specific target groups? At this, that is the data that we use, is mobile data for these specific target groups. And then another question: how will you identify users who are in front of the screen for retargeting the users via mobile versus moving in different direction, not necessarily looking at the screen? Secondly, are there location partners disclosing mobile ad IDs? Good questions. The way we do it, we work with our data partners, some of which I mentioned earlier, using Native Touch as an example. This is the mobile ad IDs are captured as people enter into a polygon of the screen. So whether, if they're looking at, we can't necessarily tell if they're looking at the screen per se, but as they enter that polygon and that ad is being shown at that exact moment, we're able to capture that mobile ad ID via native touch, and the native touch is able to repackage those mobile ad IDs and send them back. As it relates to location partners disclosing mobile ad IDs, I'm not sure that I understand that question, but I don't think the location partners are disclosing any mobile ad IDs or any type of information without the consent, or without being GDPR compliant, as you mentioned, or doing anything with those outside of what we've agreed to in a campaign.
So I think that's all for the questions for now, it looks like. Like I said before, if you have any other questions at all, anytime, you can contact Mike or myself using our email addresses here. We'll leave it there. Thanks everyone for joining us, and yeah, we look forward to connecting again with you soon.
Thanks everybody. Have a great day.